Okay, so how have you felt about this weekend?
Well, I have been really pleased to be part of the festival because the fact that they decided to focus on wellness, I think it's a real paradigm shift, and I think it has a lot of meaning for many of us in this day and age. And as someone who's, I've spent a great deal of my life devoted to this idea of wellness. So I think it has a lot of meaning. So it's been a real pleasure to be part of it, and also sort of away from the arty side of things. I do a lot of performance at festivals that's just sort of about writing and literature, and I really enjoyed being able to share that part of myself, which is my deep sort of inner practice and spirituality.
I was listening to you talk, and you were talking about a lot of ideas which combined multiple ideas of spirituality. Sort of, it had Hindu Vedic tradition. You kind of brought in Buddhist ideas. There's a Sufi Muslim practices as well, and
100%.
and that seems very much like a fusion. So is this something that you have created yourself with your new practice?
Well, I'll tell you what, my own sort of identity is a fusion of white and South Asian. And ever since I was young, I've always suspected that the way people like to demarcate religions and border themselves off and say, my God is this and this, no, but this is my God and you're wrong, and no, my God, Allah is the only God, and I always suspected that I felt deeply that they were all speaking about the same thing. And so I think I've basically spent my life trying to work with that, and in that way, I've sought everything out, and I've said no to nothing. And that now, at this point in my life, and with my meditation wellness teaching, has led to the synthesis. Because the way I see it now is that there is no difference, and they're all talking about the same thing. And also, people who come from sort of the subcontinent or just not the West, we have a very specific perspective that has to do with colonialism and the way ideas are marketed into the West. And my early days as a yoga student and teacher gave me a real insight into that, and I saw how these things can be colonized.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think what I try to do is free everything of the colonization. So to me it is a synthesis, and I talk about it as much as I can, especially with the word mindfulness, becoming an object in the consciousness, which I think is a great thing. It's led to a paradigm shift for sure. But one of my teachers for a meditation teacher training, who's also a result of synthesis, he's a German ballerina from Stuttgart, but he immersed himself in ancient teachings. So he always talked about this, how mindfulness sort of stops at a certain place, and what we need to do if we are in service, let's say, to humanity, and we care, is to provide a wider sort of synthesis.
Yes.
So it's great that you picked up on that, and thank you for asking me.
I think what I would like to do is, I think we probably need to carry on this conversation, so I'd like to come down to Bristol, I think, which is where you are based.
I'm in London.
Oh, you're in London? Well, okay, that's even better. Maybe I could actually come and spend some time with you and do a longer version of this, and you could take us through your entire practice and how the poetry fits in, because I think that would be fascinating.
Well, I think the difference between me and maybe some of the other people here is that my spiritual practice is personal to me, and I consider the rest is my art. So what it is it's the art of a spiritual practitioner.
Yes.
So that's the linkage. It's not that I always write about. In the same way that being brown, I don't always write about the experience of being brown.
Yes.